this video, we're going to talk about formatting, and this is probably the core formatting you're going to be doing as a beginner. You're not going to need a lot of the really advanced stuff just yet. Even with these basic concepts, you're going to be able to create some really amazing visualizations. And the way formatting works, especially these basic ones, and we're going to be using a lot of this area right here, depending on the visualization you have, each of these will do something different for that visualization. So we're going to do this almost as a three-parter. We've already built bar charts, line charts, and pie charts, and I'm going to show you how to do the formatting for each one, and we're going to start with the bar chart. Before we begin, we're going to create some new sheets, and you can have as many sheets as you want, and once we get into dashboard mode, your dashboards are really just your sheets put together to create an overall picture of what you're trying to communicate. So we're going to create some sheets, and there's two ways to do it. The first way is if you go down here, you're going to see these three buttons. The first one is the create sheet button, and that will create as many sheets as you like. That's one method. The other method is if you go up here, you'll see this button right here, and you can create a sheet with that as well. I'm going to do this one in the bottom because this is how I feel today. And what we're also going to do is we're going to clear out some of this clutter so we can get rid of this sheet one that we've made. And I'm just going to go delete. We're also going to create two more sheets. So 1, 2. Let's call the first one bar. So you can right click and go rename. Or what I like to do is I just double click the sheet. And let's call this bar. The next one I'm going to double click. Let's call this ligne. And the last one, let's call this pa. Going back to bar, let's build a bar, and we're going to use that show me methodology for this first one. All I need is one dimension, one measure. These top ones are their dimensions. The green ones, or the bottom ones, are your measures, just as a reminder. Let's pick profit. Let's do profit here, and let's pick maybe, I'm going to pick two. Let's go subcategory and category. And over here to the right in the show me, we're going to press this button right here. And that will create my visualization. So easy. God, I love this program every time. Blows my mind. And let's start with the color. There's a number of things I can do here with color. The first is I can scale this using color based on highest to lowest. Very simple. So the measure we're using is profit. So we're going to use profit also to color it. If I take profit here from the left and I drop it here into color, it will color it based on the profit value. Let's drop it in here. You can see that the highest numbers are also the darkest, and it goes like that in terms of scale. The default color for Tableau is always light blue for the visualizations, except for maybe pie charts, but more often than not, it's always blue. Blue doesn't really tell us anything, and what we really want to do as analysts, as people who visualize, is we want to use color to our advantage. And you'll probably notice all throughout your life, traffic lights, red means bad, green means good, green means money, blue means ocean. Colors have meaning, and we can use that to our advantage. For example, let's say this is profit. Well, we really want to show that the large profit is a good thing and that low profits are a bad thing. So we're going to change these colors. We're going to click here on color, and we're going to click on edit colors, and this brings up this one right here, and we're going to choose something that's a bit more appropriate. From here we can choose either a single color, right, or we can pick one that's a scale of colors, so one or more, two or more colors. For this one, because we're talking about money, maybe red and green is a good one. Very simple. So I go red and green diverging. That will choose my two colors for me. And if I hit apply, you can see, if I just move this to the right, you can see the ones that are really good and the ones that are really bad. See, these are a lot lower. Later on, you'll be able to control exactly where the color changes to. When you apply it for the first time, it always applies at the middle value, and then that's kind of your red, and then that's your green, or this way, whichever way the camera is pointing. And then from here, we can also change it to something else. So let's say this particular data set is talking about number of incidents, number of accidents or injuries. Then really it's all bad. Then it should all be red. So we can go here and switch it to all red. Go apply. And those really big ones are the really bad ones. Let's do kind of one more. Let's say the 3 or 4 large, well, the largest values, those are the ones we want to emphasize. The small ones, we don't care. So we can again use color to our advantage. We can click here and go red and black, one of my favorite ones. So if I click red and black and hit apply, what you'll notice with your eyes is you're probably more attracted to the red color, and the dark gray you don't really pay attention to. It's almost like a second thought. If I reverse these colors, I can click on this button right here to reverse it and go apply. You'll notice now that the 3 jump out at you. This is the power of visualization, that before you don't actually have to think about it. It's just as soon as you see it, you're like, ooh, you just notice it, right? And this happens to you all throughout your life. You probably just never notice it because it's so natural. It's how the brain processes information, visual information. We can go OK, and that is how you would do colors for a bar chart. We're not going to go through the rest of this because that's kind of a bit more advanced. You don't need it as a beginner. The next one is the size. The size controls the height or the thickness of the bars. I can click here and go and make them thicker. As you can see, as I make them thicker to the point where they're touching each other, I can go the other way to make them thinner. Once you get into like designing KPIs and jewel bars and Gantt charts and all that kind of stuff, this thickness stuff becomes super important and really makes your visualizations look really good. But for this one, for a basic one, that's all it does. Very simple. The next one is label. We covered this a little bit before. To do the label, you need to first add a label. The way we do that is, let's say I want to add, for something like this, I want to add profit to the labels. If I take profit, drop it into label, we can see those values come up. Great. I can edit this now as, if I want, so I can go label. I can use these preset ones, which I'm not going to cover these ones. I'm probably just going to use this one, the font, which lets you control the size. If it's bold, italic, underline, and a color, don't worry about this just yet. Or I can go into customization mode, which is if I click these 3 dots right here, I can really customize exactly how it looks along with all the other kind of elements. So if I add, for example, another label in there, let's say I want to add also the category. I'm going to go category, label. You'll see it starts to disappear because it's shown on 2 lines, and Tableau doesn't like overlapping things. So if I go into label, 3 dots, I can maybe move things around. So I can go category, click and drag. I'm going to do a colon, space, and let's make this one bold. So just this B, and let's make it center justified. Oh, that work? B, there we go. Center justified, and if I hit apply, you can see it looks a whole lot different. Really depends what kind of formatting you want to do. That is a label. The last one is the tooltip. The tooltip appears when you hover over an element. You can see here when I hover that little square thing is changing as I hover, which is fantastic, especially when we get to Tableau online and you're sharing things with your audience and people are viewing your visualizations. They actually interact with it. They can actually touch the data with their mouse and they're going, hey, look at that value. That's interesting. And you can put really interesting stories in these tooltips. At the moment, it just says category, office supplies, subcategory, envelopes, profit, and then a value. Not very exciting, and it takes a little while to actually go, well, is there actual meaning in this? We can customize this to be a phrase, to use grammar, to use English or Italian, whichever you would like. Let's click here on Tooltip, and we can rephrase this. We can say, and it's just like Microsoft Word or any text-based software, we can just go in the main category, and we can take this category, click and drag, and subcategory, we can take this one and move it here. Now, if by accident you delete it, don't freak out. You can just go insert and then add it back in, and it's always down here at the bottom, so we can just add subcategory again, and then we have it. Okay, in the main category and subcategory, the profit is, we can grab this one, We can put it in here. We can get rid of the rest of this. We can go preview to see what it looks like. So it looks kind of totally flat. It's all just black. Let's give it a bit of attention, bit of style. I'm going to change this color to maybe blue. So I'm just changing that one. And let's make this writing a little bit bigger so it stands out from the rest of it. Let's do the same thing here. Blue, make it 11. And blue, and make it 11 from Stranger Things, which is an awesome TV series. If you haven't watched Stranger Things, oh, you got to watch it on Netflix. It's a bit old now, but still awesome. Let's go preview. You can see it's now starting to stand out a little bit more. Let's add a $sign here. And you can see it's not the same format, so let's just format that to be the same. 11 and blue. Preview. That's looking a whole lot better. So we go OK. Now when we hover, it's an actual description, an actual story or a phrase that someone can understand a lot better, especially if you have like a lot of jargon or abbreviations for your company. It will make a lot more sense rather than just having the jargon. You can have the actual description. That, I believe, is the last part for the formatting for bars. Obviously, if you do vertical axis, it's pretty much the same thing. So let's switch this around. So I'm going to press this button right here, which is going to transpose it vertically. You can see that it all self-adjusts to now have the labels and everything else as well. Same thing. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you at the next video. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to learn the entire Tableau platform, consider enrolling into my course. It's one of the highest ranking courses on Udemy, and enrolling today, you'll be joining the almost 200,000 students that have enjoyed my courses over the years. Thanks again for watching, and hope to see you in the course.